Hey guys, welcome back to my channel again. I just was thinking about something that I went through as a veteran when times are hard, and I had a family of six, me and five other humans that I had to take care of at the time. Um, this is maybe a couple decades ago when times were really hard for me as a veteran, a homeless veteran to say the least. Homeless with five other individuals, and I had got down to a point where I knew I could do something for myself, but I had to get the resources. I had to find the resources somehow. So what I ended up doing is having to go to the VA hospital one day, and a counselor talked to me. I didn't put in a request for this to happen, but what I did was I just happened to ask one of the people that were in the hospital at that day, I wouldn't say a passerby, but a VA employee, and I just asked him, "Is there any way that a veteran can be hired at the hospital, for a job to try and get back on their feet?" And this is something that I wasn't aware of because when I got out the service in '93, I mean, you went to the VA hospital and you took your exit exam for your disability compensation, if there was any, if you may have had a claim or whatever. But I never thought of the VA hospital as being a place of employment for myself. But at the time, since things were so bad and I couldn't find a job at the time, and basically we were staying with other family members who are local here in Tampa, I really started hitting the ground when I went to the hospital that day and asked that man that question. And he told me that they have what's called a program called Compensated Work Therapy, or CWT. So he gave me a number to call, and before I went back to my in-laws' house, I gave that number a call, set up an appointment, and lo and behold, it really wasn't a huge process or a long, lengthy process. I would say maybe in 3 days or so, 3 to 5 days. I mean, if I can recall back at that time, that I was offered a position, offered a job at a good rate. It was higher than the state minimum wage. I do remember that, and they made it to where the agency that I worked for through the VA hospital, they made you feel like you were actually doing something, or you were part of something, or you were performing a service for a fellow veteran. And that was through the compensated work therapy. You were offered it was basically a full-time job. There was no familial benefits, but the only benefit that I had was because I was a veteran. I was, of course, eligible for the program. And what that program enabled me to do was build up some work experience within the VA system. And then what I did was I levered that experience into applying for a job within the VA system in the federal system as a federal employee. And it just led to one thing from another, where my first position was I worked for a company that outfitted vans, or I wouldn't say, basically like a disability van, where it has like an automated motorized door frame, and where you put your wheelchair in, and there was no seat, and all you did is if you were in the wheelchair, you would steer your wheelchair into the driving position, and you would drive with different levers on the steering column. And my job was doing wiring diagrams and running wires and maintaining those vehicles whenever they brought them in for a service, or maybe if they needed an upgrade or so. And that was an agency that was within that VA healthcare system that helped veterans that needed mobility options. So I got a lot of experience with that. And then that morphed into a position where there was more key towards my background, which was like in electronics repair and doing technical work with computers. And then I was given a CWT position in the hospital as a basically running around at different clinics and everything, installing computers and making and removing computers, putting them in the system, putting them in inventory, and doing that kind of thing. And I took that position, and what I did was, after a while, I asked around different departments within the veterans hospital, are there any openings so that I can get within that federal employment system? And you got to enter somewhere. So what I did was I took I wouldn't say a basic job, but it was a job within the VA system as a, I wouldn't say janitor, but you basically assigned an area within the hospital and you maintained that area. You know, you mopped the floors, you took out the garbage, you know, basic things. But to me, I was fine with it because it was employment. And what I would like to say to other veterans is, don't get down on the VA system. Always look for avenues and resources within the system. They have now, if you're looking at possibly becoming homeless, they have the HUD-VASH program, which I also took advantage of that when I was looking for a place. They have the HUD-VASH program, the CWT program, and within the CWT program, there's other avenues that you can go, like depending on what your disabilities are within the system. Like if you're a veteran with mental issues and things like that, there's also CWT programs for individuals like that may need extra guidance. So there's always resources out there. And the problem with us veterans, I see, I mean, since I've been out in 93, we all become down on the system when it doesn't work instantly and rapidly for us. Things take time. Let things take time to ruminate and gather the resources and the ability to help you. Stop being so pessimistic on a system that's put in place to help us. And that's really what I'm trying to get at, because when I was down and out and needing a hand or needing a help, I was always being told from traditional government agencies, no, we can't help you. You're a veteran. Basically, you're a veteran. You should be able to take care of yourself. That's the way it made me feel. But what I did was I stuck to it, and I made that door, that opportunity with those resources to get me to where a system or in a place where I didn't have to worry about keeping the roof over my head no more. And with that, I would like to say, veterans, get out there, ask questions, find out what's there in your area and your local veterans hospital. You're going to find more if you're in the bigger city where you have an actual hospital, large medical center. They have more opportunities and there's more offices. Because remember, if we do not use it, we will lose it. So the only time when they are approving funds and things like this for our programs, if nobody's using it, the money will go away. Okay? And we cannot have that, because these programs are valuable to veterans who need help. So if you have a person in your family, or you know of a friend or know of a friend who may be a veteran and may be contemplating doing other things and not using the system, the veterans healthcare system, even for the CWT program, get them in there. Get them in there to somebody to talk to and help them out. I appreciate you listening. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications bell. And if you like this video, please hype it up if you have that option also. I appreciate that. And take care and be blessed. And always look up. Take care. Till the next one.